Welcome to the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast with host Jacqueline Burke. On today's special feature, we are interviewing Three Moons, Three Souls spiritual spa boutique vendor, Laurie from Krylo Crystal Creations. We know you will really enjoy this interview.
Welcome to our podcast, Laurie. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Hi, I'm well, and thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. So, with our podcast, we are going to talk about being part of a boutique store or a vendor store, if you may, and how you got started in that. But first, I'd like to know your business name. So tell our listeners your company name.
Okay, so my company is Krylo Crystal Creations.
Mhm.
I came up with that name with my daughter. We were kind of toying around with names.
Oh,
This happened about 3 years ago. We
yeah.
were toying around with names, and that's what we came up with.
Oh, that's neat. So is it like some abbreviation to names or?
Well, yeah, it's a combination of my daughter's initials and mine.
Oh,
So,
nice. Oh,
yeah,
that's sweet. So
yeah.
does she work with you?
Well, she did in the beginning, but she's since moved out and
Oh,
started her life. So yeah, she's doing her thing while I'm doing mine.
oh,
So
that's
yeah.
good. Okay, so what inspired you to start your business?
Well, it kind of happened after COVID when I'm still working full time, like I work Monday to Friday,
Oh, good.
and I was looking for something just to kind of keep me busy.
Hmm.
And I've always worked with crystals and always really been drawn to them.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, why don't I try making some bracelets? And I started just making some for myself and for my daughter. And then, of course, she was showing her friends, and then her friends wanted some, and then
Oh, nice.
my coworkers wanted some. And then it became, well, okay, let's see how I could do with this. And so I've been doing them for about 3 years now, making bracelets and earrings and expanding as I go, but trying new things and anything to kind of keep working with the crystals and the energies that they give when you're working with them, right?
Well, absolutely. They're just beautiful. Like I
Well, thank
love,
you.
yeah, they're just gorgeous. So what brings the passion to create those bracelets and earrings?
Well, I don't know if you've ever walked into a crystal shop before, but
Yeah.
if you've walked into a crystal shop, the energy and the vibration that you get when you walk into those stores, imagine handling those every day and feeling that energy every day. That's pretty much the driving force because it's just fascinating the different energies you can get with the different crystals that you work with. And it's also kind of fun to pair up crystals with
Yeah.
the healing properties of them and discover what energies together they can produce. So that's what
Yeah,
keeps me
absolutely.
going.
It's amazing, The power in the crystals, that
Yes,
energy that you
absolutely.
do feel. It is truly amazing. Um, so have you always been into crystals? Like, have you always incorporated crystals into your life, like before your business?
Yeah, I did. Back in about 2010, roughly, I was, health issues, right? You're always
Oh,
you're
yeah.
always dealing with medical and healthcare professionals, and I wanted to find an alternative way of dealing with pain and dealing with, some of the stuff that I was going through at the time. And I started really diving into crystal therapy,
Okay.
and then I dove into Reiki.
Oh,
So
nice.
I've done Reiki, I've got Reiki as well. And so between the two, working with both, it's helped my life immensely with regards to keeping me on track and
Oh,
keeping the
wonderful.
energy with me, right?
Yeah. So you do crystal Reiki then?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
good.
both.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fascinating. I mean, Reiki is so peaceful on its own, but when you incorporate the crystals to it,
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally different. Um, so what is one of the most memorable moments you've had with your business so far?
Well, the most memorable moment I would have to say is just the feedback that I
Yeah.
get and from particular clients that say that they've helped, right? I
Mm.
can't pinpoint an absolute one, but just the overall feedback that I get from my customers that say, this I just feel a different type of energy, or I actually had a customer buy a fluorite bracelet that helped them stay focused at work. you
Oh,
know, things like that, that kind of feedback just is amazing and keeps me making them, right?
yeah.
If I didn't have that kind of feedback, well, you'd kind of
Yeah.
fade into the woodwork, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so nice to hear when, a service or a product that you've created has brought some form of comfort, right? To your,
Oh yeah, definitely.
that makes it all worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how do you balance? Now you say you have a full-time job and you have your business and your family.
Hmm.
How do you balance all of that? I mean, that's a lot of work, I would
It
imagine.
is a lot of work, and thankfully I'm an empty nester.
Okay.
So I have my cats, and that's it. So it's just
Yeah.
me and the cats. And I think they're more of a challenge than my kids were, really.
Oh,
But they are still a big part of my life. I mean, I'm a grandmother now, so
oh
I have a I
goodness.
have a granddaughter, and my daughter lives in town. My son and his family live out of town, but
Hmm.
we all stay in touch via FaceTime calls, things like that. But when we're all together, that's what is really important, right? We
Yeah.
we really try to spend the time together.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta love Zoom and FaceTime
Yes,
and all that, eh?
absolutely,
It's like you're in the same
absolutely.
room.
Yeah, totally.
So what piece of advice would you give someone who's starting in their new business? Like just right out of the gate, just starting.
Well, I would say whatever business that you're going to choose to do, um, it's got to be something that you love doing.
Hmm.
Don't do it just because you think it's going to make you money, or it's a side gig or what have you.
Yeah.
You've got to have a certain amount of passion about it in order for you to stick with it.
Yeah.
And just don't give up. Like, don't give up. Just keep working at it. Keep working at it. I mean, even when I went through a shoulder surgery about 2.5 years ago, and I wasn't doing anything, like, as far as markets or anything really, and I didn't give up. Once I could get my dexterity back, I was back making bracelets and making earrings and making sun catchers and making jewelry when I can, right?
Yeah.
So it's the biggest thing would be to find what you're passionate about.
Yeah. I bet knowing your business was there waiting once you finished healing was enough good incentive for you.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Gave you something to look forward to.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we all need that, don't we?
Yes. Yep,
Um,
for sure.
so you mentioned markets. So do you do markets as well?
Yes, I do.
Oh, wow.
Not a lot though. I'm trying to kind of be very selective as to when I do go to a market,
Hmm.
just because it can be a little draining on your time and energy as well, because you're dealing with all these people.
Yeah,
Not that I don't enjoy working
right.
with people and talking with people, it's a lot, right? And when
Yeah,
you work full time and this is your part-time thing where you're trying to get things going, it's a lot to take from your time. So I'm really being selective as to what I'm doing.
yeah.
I'm really diving into the store side of things now. I did do a couple consignment shops that were okay. I
Yeah.
mean, they had the potential to be good,
Okay.
but it's finding the niche, right? Finding where you fit,
Yeah,
finding where your product kind of gets showcased, or where people are going to actually patronage the location and actually be interested, right?
right.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now, trying to just get my feelers out and get things out. So
Yeah.
that's
Well, you won't
mhm.
have a problem. Your products are beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So what are some of the most important lessons you've learned on going into your business and running it?
Well, I would say that don't give in to fads.
Yeah, right?
So it's very easy to think that, oh, this, especially right now with Elbows Up and
Oh yeah.
Canada and promoting Canada and everything. Not that I'm not a proud Canadian, I am,
Yeah.
but the temptation might always be there to get on that fad bandwagon of, oh, well, let's make something that's going to be geared to that, or let's because people will buy it.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Just slow and steady wins the race.
Oh,
Stick to what you know, be comfortable with what you're working with, and just don't buy it. Don't fall into the fad the fad
Oh,
race.
you can't even keep up with how many fads there
No,
are. I
I
mean,
know. There is so many. There is.
it's
Absolutely.
amazing. Oh
Mhm.
my. Um, so have you been doing any like spiritual expos or anything like that? Like, do you go into that lane as well, or
I haven't explored that one yet. I think that's one that I might dive into a little more come the fall,
yeah.
just because I'm gonna, like I said, I'm actually working on a brand new website as well.
Oh,
So I'm trying to get that up and running, and the time it takes with that, I've thankfully got a really good friend that's just amazing. She's helping me with that.
good.
But get working on that and setting a set inventory for that,
Right.
and making sure I've got inventory for your location, and then making
Yeah.
sure that I've got, what I want to have on hand if anyone wants to stop by and buy anything, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of where my focus is right now. But then come the fall, I'm going to kind of explore those avenues.
Yeah. They do generate a lot of traffic, that's for
Oh,
sure.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's usually good media coverage. And, so for any business, really, like go back to the question of someone starting,
Hmm.
and avoid the fads, but yet, you go into a lane that works for you, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And and the whole point of not giving up either, because you might
Yeah.
not be successful at one thing, but something else will come along and it'll be very successful, right? And
Oh,
finding your
yeah.
niche, right?
Yeah. It's those lessons in between,
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Lots of lessons in between.
Oh, yeah. You can't give up just because you had one
No,
bad, you know?
exactly.
It
Yep.
was placed there for a reason.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Learn and move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the most rewarding part of being a vendor, per se, at a boutique or store?
Well, it gives me an idea of what is attracting people.
Yeah.
That's something that's really great about being a vendor in a store, because you can kind of keep a track of what is selling and what is trending at the time. And again, we're not
Yeah,
falling into the fads so much as
right.
the trends, right?
Yeah.
And because a while back, carnelian was the big trend. Like it was
Oh,
all over social media, and everybody was buying carnelian.
I
But
remember.
yeah. But it's knowing what's trending, say in the boutique that you're at,
Yeah,
and then being able to you know feed that market, so that then you're kind of relevant, right?
yeah. Okay, that's good. That's excellent advice. Yeah. Okay, so dealing with, because you have crystal jewelry.
Hmm.
So, what are some of the common misconceptions that people have about that particular industry, like working with crystals? Have you come
Well,
across any?
the misconception, there's a
Yeah.
lot of there's a lot of doubters out there.
Okay.
A lot of folks are not as enlightened
Right.
as as a lot. It's just not a big thing. But I'll tell you, in the last 10 years, it has slowly progressed, where, if you've noticed, the like holistic healing and
Yep.
crystal therapy, Reiki, all of that is becoming a forefront now, whereas 10 years ago it wasn't a big thing. Nobody really understood what it
Right.
was.
Yeah.
They would laugh at it and go, "What's that? Like, what is
Yeah.
crystal therapy? What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
But now it's become a methodology that a lot of people rely on. And I usually walk around with crystals in my pocket all the
Yeah.
time, like all the time. So my ex-husband used to say, "You've always got rocks in your pocket." Yeah,
Ah,
there, that's right.
yeah.
But that's, it's a even if it's the energy that you're feeling, it's also a comfort, because you can always put your hand in your pocket and you can feel them. Just
Yeah.
like with a bracelet, you can always touch the
Oh,
stones, you can
yeah.
always feel the stones. It's almost like a worry stone, when you're out and about, and it helps to curb anxiety as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know long time ago, and when I was in school, like we're going back almost to the Ozarks there.
Yeah.
I mean, they would give children who had problems with attention.
Hmm.
Okay. There were it was like a little braided um bracelet, but it had
Yep.
beads on them. And they
Yeah.
would, if they were having a hard time listening in class, like they were getting preoccupied with or distracted, they would have that and they would play with the bead.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were able to continue listening.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
So for those that don't understand the power of crystals, they can think back to how it really helps,
Mm-hmm.
even learning challenges. They
Yes.
play with the crystal bead.
Yep.
And then they're
Absolutely.
getting wonderful energy, you know.
Yes. And with that, like if you wanted to dive even further, you can look to different crystals to promote that focus, to
Right.
promote the soothing, to promote the calmness, and just even touching those stones helps with that.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean more people I hope can become more knowledgeable in them because it really does help.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
especially with the products you have because it's fashion as well, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it falls
Oh
into
yeah.
that genre. So to have that is, you can play with your earring too and how
Yes.
that's a common thing to do.
Yes, it is.
And you're still touching that crystal. So that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
absolutely.
So what's this one skill that you think is crucial for success in your industry?
Imagination. I
Yeah,
know it doesn't seem like a skill, but it
it is.
is being able to tap into your own whimsy
Oh yeah.
and believing in that whimsy and thinking, okay, just because I think it's kind of fun, everybody doubts themselves, but don't, that whimsy and that intuition and that, you know, imagination is what keeps you going.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's a strong strength, I think, with my industry anyway.
Yeah, the creativity. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's endless really what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how do you see your industry evolving in the next 5 years or so? Like with the crystal, like from everything really. Anything
Yeah.
with the crystals.
I think that it's going to become more and more mainstream, especially the healing side of things.
Yeah.
Reiki is now a common modality that is in massage therapies
Yeah.
and things like that now. So I can completely see crystal therapy becoming part of the mainstream.
Yeah.
And with that, if you purchase specific crystals for specific, healing properties and then look at the bracelets too,
Yeah.
yeah, I see that just becoming a more mainstream healing
Yeah.
process now.
Do you see it ever entering into our healthcare system, like in the hospitals? Because I know
I
it's
do.
they,
I do see what I could see, especially even Reiki
yeah.
entering in the hospital scene prior to surgery and
Oh,
after surgery,
yeah.
just to promote healing and to promote the calm and peacefulness,
Yeah.
because your body heals best when it's resting. And yeah, I can completely see that becoming a modality in the
Yeah.
future.
I know it's in the United States, like the
Hmm.
Reiki entered into their some of them anyways, some of the
Yeah,
hospitals there. And yeah, I mean, I would hope it would come into some of our hospitals in Canada. Um,
yeah.
yeah, it just brings like you're anxious anyways, just being there. I mean, you could be there just for the simplest thing,
Hmm.
but just
Well,
the fact that you're there is.
exactly. And studies have proven, like, just even the colors of the walls
Yeah.
help to aid with soothing, right? So having crystals around the room or having them there for the patients to actually handle, I can see that being of great value, especially for that kind of situation.
Or even putting like sun catchers in their windows.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
oh, wouldn't that be cool?
Yes, definitely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
we have a business plan to put together.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so let's see here. I want to find out like how do you approach building and maintaining strong relationships like in your industry, like even if it's at a market or a boutique or you know anything like that. What's your approach on maintaining that?
Well, I think communication is the big key.
Oh
So
yeah.
long as you're staying in touch with your boutique owners and even the clientele, if they reach out to you, you're staying in contact and responding, being responsive, and
Yeah.
making sure that you're following through. not just saying, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then, and back to that, I was a little scattered with all of this past couple of weeks, but yes, I think being responsive and keeping in touch and staying communicative and being open to suggestions too, because your boutique owners are the ones that are going to be at the front, at the
Yep.
forefront, and they're going to be able to give you the feedback that you need for your products.
Yeah. Oh yeah. How do you feel about how TikTok has taken off with like say vendors and
That's a whole other avenue I haven't explored yet
oh really? Yeah,
because it's a lot.
it is.
It's a lot. The social media platforms are just crazy.
They're
It's
endless.
how they've exploded, and there's so many different avenues to go down. There's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's just so many to choose from. I'm sticking to the mainstream like Facebook and Instagram for now because I know
Right.
TikTok is going through a lot of
Oh yeah,
a lot of
hiccup.
issues with the US, and I know Canada was looking at banning them, and
Oh
so it's I stick to the mainstreams because I know I do use the tried and true for now.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean
Yeah,
TikTok is
there's some good one. I mean, every time you turn around or I hear, "Oh, have you been on this one?" or "Have you been on check this out?" and it's almost daily,
yeah,
you
something
know.
new. Yeah.
Yeah. There are some good platforms out there. However, like with some of them, they only allow a certain amount of like a bit for your content. You can only have a little bit of writing,
Yeah.
which quite often doesn't work because you're
Yeah.
limited to your characters. So, but for the most part, they have a good following. So, you got one offsets the other,
Hmm.
you know. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because TikTok, it's been wonderful for like promoting a boutique
Yes, I can
and
imagine it would
stores.
be. Yeah.
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 Now I know the US is having their issues with TikTok at the moment, but for like for jewelry and
Hmm.
companies like yours, it does really well. Like
Okay.
the pack the order with me type of thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is fascinating how
Hmm.
that platform has taken off for vendors. Yeah, it's been good that
Well,
way.
definitely something I'll have to explore. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. Um, so what are some common challenges you face um with like getting out there and meeting new stores or meeting new markets or do you find it's harder now than it was before or
Well, yes and no. If you can get on a good platform that advertises without the scammers,
yeah,
you're in good shape.
yeah.
There's a lot of that going on right now. A lot of
Oh,
scams going on out there. People just advertising markets and then taking people's money.
still
And
right?
oh yeah, yeah. But you gotta take the good with the bad. So you gotta
Yeah,
actually just do your own due diligence and make sure that you're following proper security measures to make sure that you don't get taken.
yeah.
Talking with stores, I try to go if I know of a store that's actually accepting new inventory, I try to go in person. I mean, it was difficult. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have been able to rip down to Airdrie,
Yes.
although I do have lots of friends down
Yeah.
there. So I mean, sometime I will come down
Yeah.
because I do have a lot of
Yeah.
contacts down there.
Yeah.
But I do try to go in person to actually meet the store owner so that I can get a feel for what the vibe is like in the
Yeah.
store.
Yeah.
And that's so far I've had pretty good luck with all of that.
Oh, good.
But the one thing that concerns me with the consignment store is I want to make sure, or any kind of boutique, is to make sure that they're passionate about what they're selling, of course, and they
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know everybody's product. Like that's a
Right.
given. You don't expect them to know everybody's product, but to be there to be able to say, hey, you know what, I can find out for you, or
Yeah.
be able to communicate to customers and actually talk to customers.
Yeah.
I've I was in one store, like a consignment type situation, where they literally didn't talk to anybody. They would just go
Oh,
in and browse, and then So really it ended up costing me more money to
Yeah.
actually put my stuff there than it would have been to, maybe explore different avenues.
Okay. Huh. So,
Yeah.
well, I'm just shocked actually, like with the scammers part.
Yeah.
I mean, I know when we started with markets several years ago, yeah, there was a few selective ones, I guess.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I guess you just got to keep it real. I like to kick it old school,
Yes.
and they don't give me a problem.
No, no,
I
but I
I
think
suppose
that,
technology has contributed to that.
yes,
Makes it easy, but
yeah, the telltale is those that ask for the money up front before they get any forms or, any
oh,
information about you first, right? Those that say,
oh,
oh, well, if you send me $50, I can secure your spot and
yeah.
things like that, right? Like, but yeah, there's a lot of that out there still.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Huh. Yeah, that's amazing. You'd think they'd give up after a while.
No, they just find a new way.
Always. Oh, one day they will.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm on a mission now. Well, um, okay, so I would like to know, and have one last question for you.
Sure.
What is your future plans for your business? So, like, do you want to venture out into any other avenue aside from markets and boutiques?
Well, I would like to build a strong web platform that I can have a regular clientele.
Yeah,
That's my goal, is to hopefully build a strong web presence so that then, I mean, I'm not getting any younger and I
okay.
won't be able to do my full-time job forever. So it would be nice to just have this to be able to keep and maintain, you
Yeah,
know? So that's kind of my mission, is to build this and get it going so that I can, build a future for myself that isn't
yeah,
my 9 to 5, right?
right on. So, what is
Yeah.
your website address?
It's krylocrystalcreations.com.
.com. Oh, that's
Yeah.
easy enough. Well,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Well, I have to thank you for being here with me. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks so much for the invite. This was a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Oh, good. Well, we're definitely going to do it again and get caught up with you and see how things are going.
Sure.
Okay. Sound
Awesome.
good?
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Well, thank you for being here.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us at the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast.